What's going on? You're listening to Metal Massacre. As always, I'm Lucian, the weirdo with a beardo, sitting here with the one and only Dustin Peters.
What's good?
Not much.
What the heck is going on?
Still fucking tired all the time.
Almost.
But happy here to talk about really crazy stuff that has happened in my life with metal. Really fun experience I got to do. Me and the wife went down to KC. Do you remember this?
Yes.
Yeah. So
I want you to walk me through this thing first here. I mean, like,
guys, I'm so excited.
Yeah, because I mean, like, it was your retroactive like honeymoon time, but also you guys would have probably went and did this anyways because you love Dethklok, and so I don't want to spoil anything. I'll let you go ahead and talk about it while we. I think there's like a common theme because you brought a bottle of dill pickle vodka.
Yes, pickle vodka.
This is a big part of the story, as I've been told.
This is a part of our story, yes. So,
and I haven't asked too many questions. This was like a recording. Doesn't matter when this is to you guys, but it was like past like Tuesday or something like that.
So this happened
5 days ago.
April 15th through the 17th.
Yeah, so
yes,
I haven't asked you shit as a friend because we were saving
it. I hadn't told you really anything. I just kind of sent you some pictures and was like, "Hey, look, like this is cool."
And I am curious. And then also we have a special interview later.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. We'll see.
So stay tuned for some pretty cool stuff towards the end of this episode.
Yeah, but okay, so you're going down to Kansas City. We're in Omaha, so you're driving a few hours down to go get like a Airbnb. What are you doing?
Yeah, so we went down to KC for our honeymoon, and we got VIP meet and greet tickets for Dethklok. We stayed in a really fucking cool condo above a bagel shop named Meshuggah Bagels. So we're like, okay, heavy metal honeymoon.
Already,
this is really, really cool.
On brand.
It was before we get into the concert, the honeymoon was amazing. We had such a good time, and one of the things we made a theme of the honeymoon was dill pickle vodka.
Okay, can I try this?
So yeah, cheers. We're gonna take a shot for this real quick. It's amazing.
Yeah,
it's amazing. That's what I'm saying.
You gotta like pickle juice, of course.
So,
but that's very. I mean, it doesn't.
That was like a theme of our
that doesn't
honeymoon.
taste like vodka.
Yeah, it just tastes like pickle juice.
It's pretty good. The original pickle
and we loved
shot.
it. Yeah. So we would just sit in the Airbnb when we didn't have to go anywhere all day, and just like the first day we were there, we just walked down the street, got tiki tacos, and we're like, let's get some pickle vodka and just hang out tonight. You know, it was real fun. So that was kind of a fun little theme of the honeymoon. So I figured I'd bring a little bottle as we talk about the whole trip and how fucking metal it was.
The stars kept seeming to like. That's basically what he told me, is that like things kept on just being more metal.
Yeah,
I was like, we gotta talk about
just a metal time.
We have to make it an episode.
Like, okay, so
yeah, the show before, like day of show.
Yeah, day of show. I wake up in my Airbnb at like 8 in the morning, and it's raining outside, and it's like thunderstorming, and I was like, that's pretty metal. But it was bad because we had an outdoor interview planned.
Oh, yeah.
Because Metal Massacre was not on the press
junket
for it. So we didn't have the official go to bring in recording equipment. They didn't really have anybody on their press package. So we were like, let's do it underneath a marquee with Alicia from DragonForce.
Yeah, bring your shit.
And it was all set, but it was raining all morning, and we were talking to her. She's like, well, if it's raining, then I don't know. Like, that sucks, dude. I don't know.
Yeah.
That
sucks.
I'm like, fuck. So we're just like hanging out during the morning, and it actually stopped raining by like noon. So I was like, thank God.
Thank God, dude. Yeah.
So we go out that morning or that afternoon. We park, we set up our stuff, we're waiting, and she comes out, and she's so nice, and I can't wait for you guys to hear this interview.
Yeah, she was. I mean, like, it's what always happens with heavy metal stuff, where you meet someone who's like looks big and terrifying, or in her case is like death metal, like fast speed metal bassist.
Yeah.
And it's like, hey, how are you?
Yeah.
Like, it's how I am.
Just so nice. Yeah.
I look like a complete dick.
Right. Well, she doesn't. I don't want to say that.
No, she doesn't at all.
No.
I mean, very nice. I'm saying, like,
hold up a second.
I'm nice. I'm a nice fella.
It is intimidating, I'll say that, to like meet someone that is in like such a big cosmic force in the metal scene, and like they're just so down to earth, like they're exactly who you want them to be, you know what I mean, most of them. So it was really cool that she was that way. But we did the interview, it was brief, and then she had to go do sound check, I'm sure, and meet and greets and all that stuff, so she had to get out of there.
But that was awesome, though.
But it was really
nice
cool. Yeah, it was really fun. So we'll get to that later, but we got our equipment back in the car. We were waiting in line, and two of our Discord friends, Tom and Rachel, were there too. They had the sound check Dethklok package.
I saw the picture of them there, and I didn't know that they were coming up, because usually, I mean, like, they're all over the chat and stuff. We've been busy with Deathcast stuff too, with the other little project that we have. But, I didn't know that they were going to meet you up there. Because didn't they do that the first time too? They came
to Omaha for the Omaha show, and they stayed for like maybe a week in Omaha.
That's right.
And then this time they just stayed like half a week maybe in KC. But they were already kind of swinging through anyway, so they're like, we're gonna do the sound check package.
Fuck yeah.
Which is cool. So we're honestly, as we were waiting outside, we noticed a lot of people from the Omaha show also got the VIP tickets again,
right,
in Kansas City. And it was like they either lived in Kansas City and went to the Omaha show, or vice versa, or some kind of mixture. So I was like, oh, that's so fucking cool.
Metal dorks like yourselves.
Yeah,
awesome.
I was like, hey guys, and we all just kind of hung out, and like Anastasia was noticing people, and so was I, and it was really cool. So like they let you in, and they actually did the sound check first, which in the other experience they did the meet and greet first.
Because that's kind of what I wanted to ask too, because I mean, like, every band does like their high tier package a little differently. Some of them are like, you have a table above, like, in a special area to watch it, and that's like really all it is. Some of them are meet and greet. Some of them are, you get to watch sound check, you get a special like first dibs on merch or something like that. So like, or like a sale on merch for being that VIP package. But yeah, like, because I guess how is Dethklok's like shit work like that? So they let you do sound check to watch that?
So yeah, well they always have their own sound check beforehand to make sure it's good, because it's like a little mini show. Yeah, the sound check isn't really their sound check. I'm sure they already sound check, but we came in, and it was like really cool, because I think Brendan was a little more talkative this time around about the process and about everyone working there and everything they do, and Dethklok in general. And it was a little more like we would talk to him and he would talk back. Sure. Then the one at the Steelhouse was a little more like, okay, whatever. Like, I think maybe like
depends on how far into the tour you are.
He's done it so much now since last year that he's a little more used to it. So he's a little more social than he was before, maybe. Sure. But he was really nice, and they played. What did they play? Thunder Horse, Mermaider, and Bloodrecuted. Sick. And Bloodrecuted had a video to it, so that was pretty cool. But yeah, we did that, and then they're like, all right, go back outside, we'll fucking take you back, or actually go in this hallway, wait here. And we waited by the merch booths and the bar, and then that's where we got to meet Brendan and Gene. And we waited for like maybe 20 minutes, and then we went up, and he instantly recognized us and was like, hey, see you guys again. Yeah, he's like, hey, weren't you in Omaha? And I was like, yeah. He's like, dude, I fucking love Omaha. You guys have like great food. And I was hanging out downtown. I loved it. It was really cool. I was like, yeah, dude, we love Omaha. We love you. Yeah. Like, Omaha loves you, and thanks for like being here. And I told him, I was like, the first time we met you guys, it was a wedding gift, and also my wife's birthday gift. Sure. And the second time we met you, it's now on our like honeymoon. So we love you guys. We just want you to know that. And they were like, dude, that's congratulations huge on your wedding, and congratulations on everything. Like, you guys are cool. And we showed him our gear tattoos, and we were like, we love you guys.
It's got to be kind of surreal if you're him too, because again, it's not like it takes anything away from it, but it started as a cartoon. Granted, it had the backing of, like Adult Swim. Yeah. But we've talked about it. We're big fans, and just to kind of again plug something else we do, it's like we have a whole animated universe that we've decided to make around Metalocalypse and Dethklok, and just do a fan fiction podcast, which honestly got us a lot of practice to do this podcast. We're just riffing all day long and writing scripts and that kind of shit for it, but it's got to be kind of surreal still in the back of your head, like, this is from a fucking cartoon, right? Like, and I got these guys here are tattoos, and I'm playing sold out shows across countries. Like, I mean, they probably knew that they had a really good product because they were putting full albums behind it as far as the show went for any of that stuff, but and they just had that movie that came out, but there was a big gap for a long time.
Yeah, like
and
almost 15 years, I think, where there was nothing.
It's just pretty funny to think that it was just like they probably thought it was more like a flash in the pan at the beginning.
Yeah.
Like we're making our good music and we're busting our ass and putting out a good show, but who knows? Like, who knows? It's a time and product and it's a place. But then here we are, fucking 20 years later, selling out arenas, going on tour with Baby Metal, like taking DragonForce on the road. Like, that's huge.
Right.
And all just from making cartoons, fucking around. God, home videos or home movies. That's what it was.
Yeah, Brendan Small is amazing. Me and my wife love him and his work, and Gene Hoglan's so nice too. He's such a
monster
good drummer.
drummer.
Like, it's crazy. They call him the atomic clock because he's just that fucking good.
Just doesn't miss, bro.
It was really, really fun. I feel like I told my wife afterwards, I was like, Dethklok just blessed our union. You realize that? Like, we have the most metal, like, marriage in the world. So that was cool. I feel like he was just more happy and, like, talkative this time around. And, like,
rules, man.
The fact that he recognized us was really cool. So I was like, well, this is just a great experience. Like,
sure.
It made everything cool.
Kind of surreal to meet your fucking heroes and have them be cool, too.
Yeah. So then we were like, okay, let's go get merch. And we bought, like, our hoodies and our T-shirts. And we went in, and it was a little bit of a wait, obviously, between doors and shows, like it always is. But Necrogoblicon was first. And the first thing I noticed was, I think it's Dickie from Infant Annihilator is the new vocalist, like the screaming vocalist.
Okay.
And then John Goblicon and some of the guys in the band do the singing parts.
Okay, the actual like vocal melody
stuff. So Nikki isn't the vocalist anymore. I knew that happened a while ago, but I'm like, it's weird that it's so permanent. I will say I actually did like the lineup they have. Like, it was cool to see John involved in the band and not just like hopping around and talking.
Yeah, for those uninitiated, because I mean, like, I'm aware of them and I'm looking at a signed poster of theirs on the wall right here. I think gets brought up later in the interview, but like you showed me this band like a year ago, and I fucking like I see
2022,
like a couple years ago, and then I see the thumbnail and it's a little green goblin man, like pointing his finger at me all aggressive, and I was like, bro, what are you sending me?
It's so fucking cool.
And then I start listening to it, and I'm like, this is like circus music, but really metal, but also cool and also heavy, and then there's like jazz breaks, and I was like, okay, we're deep in your brain right now, bro. Like, we're way in there. But no, but then I love them for what they are, because again, like I said, for the uninitiated, it is like they're putting on, it's not like carnival themed, but it just has that kind of like, there's a ringleader and there's a feel and an orchestrated kind of like pageantry to everything they're doing, but then aggressive ass metal music being played around it. And whether you like it or not, it's definitely respectable. Like, it's something that probably could be niche, but also I think is just like, how can you look at this and be like, I fucking hate this? Like,
it's so much fun. And
it's just fun, dude. There's humor in it.
Like, their live shows were really like super upbeat, and
how was their live show?
John was really funny. He made like a bunch of Taylor Swift jokes about Casey, and like kind of joked about everything.
Got it.
It was really cool. And it seemed like they were just really tight. They brought it really hard. The new lineup, like I was saying earlier, I think it works, like, especially live. I did catch up with Joe and Aaron from the band, who guitar and keyboard.
Really? How'd you swing that?
I just was walking, like, after we were leaving from Dethklok, and they were right by the merch booth outside, but like by the bathrooms, and just like talking to random people. And I was just like, oh, hey guys, what's up? You guys a really good set, and I like the new lineup, and I was kind of telling them what I thought, and they were like, thanks, dude, we appreciate it. And Joe was like telling Aaron, he's like, yeah, I like your vocals with John, they were really good, like, you did really well. And I told him, I was like, yeah, I agree, I think you guys like harmonize really well together. And I said, like, how did you decide to have this new lineup? And they're like, well, we kind of had to, like, shit just happened and we were going on tour. And I was like, oh, I get it. And he said, well, we are doing new music that we hope to have out in the fall with John as on vocals. Okay. And I'm like, okay, that means the singing part is going to be John, but does that mean that they're going to have Dickie on the new album as the screaming vocals? They didn't confirm that, and I didn't ask it. They just mentioned only that. So
well, one could infer.
But I'm sure that might be the new plan. So there's going to be probably new Necrogoblicon coming out in the fall.
That's pretty sick, dude.
So,
Got that little scoop.
Yeah.
You heard it here.
You heard it here on Metal Massacre. That's probably happening. If everything goes according to plan, it might, you know, things could get pushed.
Don't quote me.
Don't quote me, but that's the plan. So hopefully we'll see that.
That's always cool, dude. Like,
Yeah.
I met, not like extensively, didn't ask any questions. I was just telling Scott from our podcast about it as well over at our event, because he worked at the local Funny Bone, and I was like, that's how I met Tom Segura. Pissing.
Yeah.
Just going pee.
Yeah.
And because it was one of those like small world stories where like because like the Funny Bone, like most of them, because that's a nationwide franchise here in America, like they're relatively small. Generally they're supposed to be like that club setting, and I'll keep it short, but it was just really funny that like I just remember a big bearded dude standing in front of the bathroom, like, you know, being security for a second.
Yeah.
Because there was only one bathroom for both the entertainers, and I was just trying to sneak a pee before the show so I didn't leave. And I go out there, and I swear, and we both confirmed, I was like, I think I remember that. I was like, that was you, Scott. You told me to stay out of the bathroom. And he was like, yeah, guy's in there right now. I can't let you go in there. And I was like, I really got to pee, so I'm just going to wait. And then it was, Tom Segura comes out of the bathroom. And he's like, what, do you want to fucking shake it for me or something? And I was like, dude, good to meet you. I wasn't trying to buy a VIP. I just had to pee. Yeah. But no, it's always funny when you like, again, try and mingle. And that's what we did after Exodus as well. When we played with Exodus, I mean, like, granted, we are the local opener for that. So it wasn't like we're some big time people. I saw a lot of folks we know, but I remember after we played, and we talked, I think we might have talked about it on the first episode too, of this show, but I went out in the pit after I played. I was like, you think that I'm just gonna sit back here and but like because I went out in the pit and there was like 4 kids up in the very front. They're like, you were just on stage, what are you fucking doing out here? What are you? And I was like, dude, I'm a fan of these guys just like you are, now fucking get out of my way. we're moshing the whole time, but like I just think I always try and do that at every level too, is just go mingle with the crowd. And it's always really cool because people definitely don't have to do that. Yeah. And they knew what they were doing. Right. So that's really cool of them. But so it was 3-band bill, right?
Yeah. So Necrogobcon started it off, and then DragonForce was up next. But before we went to do DragonForce, I was like, hey, you want to go pee? And she's like, yeah, let's go to the bathroom. And again, by the bathroom, we met Papa Meat, the YouTuber. And here's how it happened. I came out of the bathroom and I was like, oh, thank God, I almost pissed myself. And I do kind of this like big loop, and I'm coming back by the bathroom, and I see my wife just do like her shocked face.
Just like a 180.
You can see her going like... you could see her doing the Home Alone kid, like pointing at someone going, oh. She did that, and I was like, what? And so I like followed her finger and like where she was pointing, and it was Papa Meat, and poor Papa Meat was just like, what? Like,
it's you.
And she's like, and I was like, oh dude, fuck, like, hey, what's up? We love your stuff. Like, we watch it all the time. Even the more like personal stuff you do is really, really awesome. We love it. He's like, oh, thanks, man. That's awesome. And I was like, can I get a quick picture with you? Like, no one's going to believe this. And he was like, yeah, totally. And we took a picture. And then I was going to tell him about Deathcast because I know he's a huge Metalocalypse fan. But then, like, the line moved. Yeah, and he was now holding up the line to go into the bathroom. And I was like, have a good night. Yeah. There was this awkward moment where he kind of was doing one of these. He's like, I got it. And I was like, no, have a good night, man.
Yeah. A bank teller saved me that one time in the store because I saw an ex-girlfriend who was like, hi, how are you? And I was like, hey, you? And then like the bank teller's like, next please. And I was like, you know, it was good to see you. I gotta go. Like, I get it.
That's awesome.
I get it. But yeah, how was DragonForce, dude?
DragonForce was fucking amazing. Yeah. The setup for the stage was cool. They had these dual arcade units on each side, like the old school arcade units. Yeah. But they're really big, and they would climb on top of them and do solos and shit. And they lit up, and like the screens lit up and played videos while the songs played, so it was really cool to like watch
on
them.
Like on the arcade machines. Yeah, that's fucking cool.
It was really cool. They were like DragonForce ones, but they said like old arcade game like logos on them and shit.
And like again, those guys are so self-aware in such a good way, because like, and we're gonna actually review some of the album later in this episode. But like I said, so I don't want to like I want to let you tell me a little bit more about the live show. But like again, like people are like, it's Pac-Man noises on a guitar. Everything's about video games to them. Blah blah blah.
Cool.
It's they're so self-aware.
It's fucking cool,
and it's really good. Honestly, like again, it's one of those things where like, it's not for me, but it'd be like, that's really fucking good.
Yeah,
like
someone described them as Slayer meets Journey. And I was like, yep, that's kind of it. I was like, that's a good way to put it.
It's very Euro metal, very Euro power metal.
Which I kind of forgot they were from London.
Yeah.
When the lead singer started, not all of them, but when the lead singer started talking, I was like, oh yeah, he's from London.
Oh yeah. Huh.
Well, not a bad thing. I was just like, forgot. But,
but again, it fits that power metal vibe. The first thing I noticed after that was they had an extra guitar player to play rhythm instead of doing backtracks. And I appreciate that. Yeah, absolutely.
Like, I'm like, okay, cool. You have someone there to like lay it down and like do that while you're soloing. So you don't have to have it like just tracked. Right. Which is like, okay, that's really fucking cool. There's an extra person to like sing and do like crowd work and like have fun, so that kind of like makes the live show even more fun. No, that is cool. Tracks are there to support things and shouldn't be the base of what you're doing, the meat of it. Obviously, you know, if you're like a solo show, if you're like Steve Vai out there or something like that, and you have like obviously tracked drums, that's different. You're fucking Steve Vai. Yeah. But like, other than that, I mean, like Before We Die, my other band uses tracks, but it's because we already have 5. I think it's very music dependent. We just didn't want a keyboard player to have a 6th person. That's not really, I get that. I mean, that makes sense, you know, but like guitar, if you're taking an instrument that could be played and you're tracking it all the time, it's kind of like you don't have that member. It's like, it's weird. Yeah. It's weird to me. So it's cool that they at least hire somebody to play rhythm for them on the road. Huge. Or it's like another person in another band. They're like, hey, just go on tour with us. It'll be really cool. And you're like, okay, add it to the resume. Right. Yeah. So like that's really cool. I don't know who it was. So we were also a ways away. Yeah, but well, I mean, like studio musicians, that's what they're the best for. Is either just laying down stuff in the studio and just kind of stay at the home base for people to come through and have them like, hey, fucking, you know, especially back in the day when like Phil Collins was coming through. He had his live band, but then it'd be like, I'm gonna go to Warner Brothers or whatever, and then it's like, hey, this is what I'm thinking. I'm gonna lay down this vocal melody. I need your best house player to do this or this or this. And like the Black Keys, when they go on the road, it's the 2 guys. Yeah, it's Pat and. Someone thought they were brothers. I don't think they're brothers. So. No, it's no. Yeah, I know who they are though. Why am I forgetting the guy's Patton something? I forget the guy's name. Sorry, dude. But but they have a bass player and a key player and all that kind of stuff. And obviously they put Patrick the drummer right up in the front along with the guitarist. And God, I feel really bad. I don't know that dude's name because he has a label and he signs a lot of really good bands. And he's honestly like. Such a down-to-earth dude. You listen to him on any podcast that he goes on, and he's just honest. It's like he's awkward. He doesn't want to. He's really down-to-earth, really cool guy. I love the Black Keys. They're fucking awesome. Hell yeah. Cheers. Real fast. No, some more. Pickle juice. In the essence of telling us more about the story, pickle juice. Okay, so Mark was a really good frontman, I think. He worked the crowd really well and like knew how to pump people up. They played some classic DragonForce. They played some stuff off their last album, Extreme Power Metal, which was a 2019 release. And then they played stuff off their newest album, Warp Speed Warriors, which was like maybe a month before they started touring, or maybe like 2 weeks before they started touring. Really, really fun. They have this song called Power of the Triforce, which is a Zelda song. And I don't know anything about it. And it's kind of referenced in this interview later. But I learned after the interview, it's part of Zelda to throw chickens, apparently. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm not gonna explain it. Yeah. So yeah, that's the thing in Zelda. Yes, it is. So they bring this big stuffed animal chicken, and people just like fucking throw it around like a beach ball, and it went like all the way up the balcony and down back into the pit like multiple times. And so like every time that happened, it didn't matter when the song was, people would just go. Ah! And like everyone would cheer so loud. It was like a gladiator just died and people were excited in Rome. Right. You know, like while he's in the middle of like his verse. It was crazy. This chicken was causing so much joy in everyone to this fucking like Euro power metal, extreme metal kind of thing. And I was just like, this is so fucking cool. Like again, that's a perfect lineup. Like again, to have like a goblin circus act, then like a video game music thing into a cartoon band. Like, but yeah, throwing chickens is a big part of Zelda.
Zelda. Just don't question it.
Like, great crowd work, great set list. The energy definitely lifted from the first set, and I think that's just from like the booking was so good. You know, like it's meant to like travel that way. And it brought the hype up for everything. Like Herman Lee and Sam are just like amazing dueling guitarists, and their solos work so well together. And I think a lot of their new stuff really showcases different types of solos. It's not just dueling all the time, but they do work with each other really well.
And they've got that classic sound that they've kind of coined at this point. And if they didn't have it, it would be odd. But yeah, like I said, even listening to some of these newer stuff, which we'll get in the album again later, is I did notice that it's like it's almost got a little bit more low, because it's famous for getting way up there and like woo, and like all those like high pitched, crazy chorus synthesized sounds, but there's a lot more low end and chugging too. And I think the bass work, honestly, like we were talking about, besides having her own like highlighted, shined out parts, but like just adds thickness. It adds the tone that they have is immaculate. Like that's one of the things that I think that trying to imitate it, if you weren't as versed in a lot of like the tech, not just being fantastic like actual players, but you can tell that they're the typical Squizgar types. They're sitting there fucking all day long with the guitar in their hand, thinking about tone, fiddling with riffs, that kind of stuff. Because every band that at a certain level should and does, but when you're able to like make an iconic tone, like a Dimebag Darrell, like when you hear it, you're like, oh yeah, this Dimebag's playing, like Zakk Wylde's playing. Like when you have that much, you're a tone god. Like I think that a lot of people would struggle trying to play with that amount of height and gain. And so with this latest stuff that they have, it adds a lot of meat to it, where the Euro power metal stuff usually has like high tuned bass and lots of like driving rhythms and stuff. There's a little bit more chug to it. It's a little more metal,
right? Like
the American style, I guess, if you will, the heaviest. But anywho,
but I think perfect lineup as far as that's concerned. Really, really good set list. I enjoyed. It's really funny. So they played 2 covers, and I noticed that both of their covers are just like iconic female artists. One's Taylor Swift and one's Celine Dion.
Okay.
So in the newest album, they do Wildest Dreams by Taylor Swift, but it's like, it makes me actually give a shit about that song. I was like, okay, it's like really cool now. Like, you know, like they did that for that. And the other one is My Heart Will Go On from Titanic.
Yeah, should.
And it's very good. And like live, I laughed really hard because Mark Hudson comes up and he's like, "Are there any ladies live?" And I was like, yeah. And
yeah.
And they all cheered. And he goes, "This next one's for you." And I was like, oh God, what are they gonna play? It's probably Wildest Dreams. Nope, Celine Dion. And I started singing it. And Anna's like,
we'll go on.
And it's like, what the fuck? And I was like, it's not just for ladies. It was really funny. We were laughing so hard at that. Like, but it was really good. They had a lot of fun, I think, playing that show. And you could really tell that they just have fun playing live. Like it's really a live band. Like as much as it is a studio band, it's one of those bands where they're good live and they're good in studio. Like it's a consistent product, and you're not really getting a lot of you get what you pay for with them.
Sure.
So I think that really like solidified the show for everybody after DragonForce. Was like, fuck yeah, this is a great fucking night.
And it's only ramping up.
Yeah, it keeps ramping up. So then Dethklok went on.
The big one.
Yeah, and it was fucking crazy. So they had a new set list. It was they added a new song, which was Mutilation on a Saturday Night, because that was kind of the
new
tour
album
name from the new album, and it had a whole new music video to it, which was really cool to see. So there's new visuals there. They added new visual stuff into the gears.
Okay.
So there's new stuff there. It was the same Army of the Doomstar intro where like Charles comes out and he's like, "We have to summon the Dethklok," and like everyone's like, "Ah!" It's like crazy. So that was really fun to like experience that again. I think Brendan's vocals sounded even better this time.
Yeah.
I think it sounded like more like the original, and even better in some cases than the original. Like you can tell he's been working on his vocals a lot.
Yeah.
Like he's been taking it seriously and really doing it, and like it felt better overall as a show, I think, than the Omaha show, to be honest. Like the visuals were just so fucking awesome. We did bail like a couple songs early to go get Airbnb footrests and McDonald's. So we were like,
you gotta do what you gotta
there's like
do.
2 songs left, and we were like, okay, like I gotta leave. Like we've been here since like 2.
Did an interview,
and it is now like
partying.
11. Yeah, I'm like, well, we gotta fucking go. But it was really fucking fun. The show, Anna kept wanting to go in the pit, but she wore the wrong shoes because I told her to wear these like high heel boot things,
combat boots.
Yeah, just
put
giant
the boots
combat
to him.
boots. Yeah, and I was like medium style, and she was like, well, I don't, I want to pit, but I can't. Why'd you tell me to wear these shoes? And I was like, because I don't want you to pit. You're crazy. She's a crazy person in the pit. She's gonna get hurt.
As someone should be, though. That's the whole thing. It's a community of violence. And we did get hurt, though. Like I got kicked in the head because someone was crowd surfing, and I didn't see them behind me, and they just swung their foot and went into the top of my head pretty much. And then Anna apparently got hit somewhere in the face because she's got like a bruise by her eye. Good.
I'm like, Jesus Christ, battle scars.
I don't condone violence.
No, me neither. But women. It's a metal show. Someone's gonna bump into you the wrong way.
If I hear you got kicked in the head, I say good.
Yeah, right. I had like a big red line on my head for a day. I was like, God damn it.
All right.
It was a great show. It was a great show. I will say that. The VIP experience made it like so much better, and the live performances were like probably the best they were on the tour. Like they were really good. I just liked everything. I liked all the lineups. I liked all the music. Everyone performed. There was a great energy build throughout the night, which is what you want in a show.
Oh yeah,
you want it to start off really, really heavy, get more intense, and then just more of both of those things at the end.
Right, yeah, absolutely.
And that's exactly what happened. So I think the show was great. And like we said earlier, we did actually get an interview with Alicia Vigil of DragonForce, which we're going to cut to Lucian from the past. Enjoy. What's up, guys? It's Lucian with Metal Massacre, and we're here with Alicia Vigil of DragonForce. We just kind of ran into each other today. Really appreciate you taking the time to talk to us today.
Yeah, of course. Thank you for having me.
How's tour been so far?
It's been really fun. Like, this is such a fun bill, you know, Dethklok and Necrogoblicon. So we got cartoons and goblins. It's been a good time.
I think it's fun because DragonForce is like as intense as Dethklok, and then Necrogoblicon has like their own visual gimmicks. So it's like all these bands kind of work together really well.
Yeah, definitely, because everyone is kind of not taking themselves too seriously, and it's like a fun experience. It's different than a normal metal band because everyone uses theatrics in some degree and kind of humor, and yeah, it's fun.
Great way to put it. If you've seen any of Necrogoblicon's music videos, there's a lot of humor in them as well. So
don't you have a signed poster by them?
Yeah. I got that a while back. I love Necrogoblicon. Love that they're here with DragonForce and Dethklok. I couldn't have asked for a better lineup, to be honest.
Yeah.
We had a couple questions for you. I know you had some.
Yeah.
What were you thinking, Anastasia?
So how's it like being in DragonForce?
Yeah, it's been awesome. So I've been in the band just over 4 years now, and yeah, they're just a bunch of goofballs, and you know, I'm a better player now because of the band, and yeah, it's been a great experience so far.
I'll give it that. I saw DragonForce, and it's like very baby stages at a Mayhem festival, so yeah, I'm excited to see them now. Yeah, for real. All right, another question. Top 3 metal bands and influences.
Ooh, that's a good question. That's tough to narrow down, but I mean, I feel like In Flames is like a big one, just melodic metal. Iron Maiden, you have to go with one of the classics.
Right.
And I really like some of Machine Head too. So they kind of might be in there for like potentially just out of a guilty pleasure.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And also, did I ask you how it's like being in DragonForce? Yeah, I did that already. All right. So how's it like being a female in like the metal genre?
Yeah, I mean, luckily I feel like there's more and more females as time. We're, you know, evening out the turf here, but you know, it's what you'd expect. It's just there's hard parts of it, but it's also like, you know, I'm fine. It's good, and you know my team, they're all like my bros, so they take care of me.
I
and
feel that.
Yeah, it's like you get that camaraderie on the road, and it definitely like it shows when you're on stage. And I think that's one thing you can tell with DragonForce is that you guys are so tightly knit. It really does develop on stage with your stage presence. And I will say, so I've been listening to DragonForce since I must have been in middle school. Through the Fire and the Flames was like our theme song. I think it was everybody's theme song.
Yeah, Guitar Hero.
One thing I've noticed is the band is so guitar centric. I feel like you as a bassist have made it more bass centric since, and I'm thinking of like your solo in Burning Heart. Oh. Just wild. I showed my bassist, and I was like, you need to do more stuff like this.
Aw, that means a lot. Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah.
You're doing a lot to make it a bass band is all I'm saying. So
Dusty's gonna kick your butt.
Thank you. Yeah, I think, I mean, you know, it's like I always appreciate when bass players kind of like add their little element to make it more of like a lead bass part rather than just like holding down the rhythm, which is important to do too, and I do that as well. But I mean, it is nice to get in there and do something cool and like have a cool little line to yourself or a bass solo or I
feel like since you've joined, it's just become more funky is what the way I would put it. Like there's just a little more depth to the bass, and it shows in especially this newest album, which I had been listening to for the last 2 weeks in preparation for the tour. So
hell yeah, well thank you. Yeah, Doomsday Party is definitely like a pretty out there track for DragonForce, and it's been fun. And I do play it live.
Like,
so
I did enjoy that, honestly.
Doomsday Party?
Yes.
That's a really good one. It's funky, it's upbeat, it's a little poppier than I think what DragonForce has put out in the past, but it fits the narrative and the brand so well. You guys really have gone into this new you've always kind of been what people call Nintendo metal or video game metal, or because it does fit so well, and there are even songs like Power of the Triforce. But I feel like especially in this last album, it's almost taken a whole new form. Like the dragon is now a completely new dragon.
So I have a question based on that. Do you play video games, and what's your favorite?
I know. I feel like the other guys in the band are definitely bigger gamers than I am. I go back. I'm a 90s kid, so like I'm like Nintendo 64 era of like video games, and I did play Guitar Hero growing up, so and they're teaching me slowly, like you know, some games here and there, but that's my extent.
I also have another like question unhinged, but do you pit, and what do you feel about women being in the pit?
Do I pit?
Oh, like mosh pit?
I love, we have women in our pit every night, and I definitely think that's freaking awesome, you know?
Thank goodness. Thank goodness.
My wife is a hell of a mosh pitter. I am not.
Oh, hell yeah.
I'm a big softie. She's the hardcore one, so you'll probably see her in the pit tonight flailing around, having a great time.
I'll be looking for you.
So I have a question. What is this fluffy chicken thing I keep seeing all over Instagram? Is this like a new ritual that you've come up with?
Mr. Cuckoo, so that is when we play Power of the Triforce, which is a Zelda song. So in the game Zelda, there's a chicken that they throw. So that's kind of our little reference to that. And whether you know about it or not, I mean, the crowd has a good time throwing the chicken, and he's like our little mascot now. We take him everywhere. I think, he was hanging out with the Goblins last night, and I mean,
I saw a video, it must have been maybe last year or earlier this year, where people were circling around the chicken, and someone had commented on it, and they're like, this is a new cult, and I just thought it was the best thing ever. Like, that energy at a show is what people come for.
Exactly,
it makes it more than a concert, it is a show. You feel like you're almost at a Vegas show, you know, where there's so much production value behind it.
Exactly. Yeah. If you come to a DragonForce show and don't know a single song, you will still have a fun time because there's so much going on. And my 90-year-old grandma comes out. Oh. Hi, Grandma Maxine. And she's coming out on Sunday. She'll be dancing, and she has the best time. Maxine. So whether you're into DragonForce or not, I think you'll have a good time at our show.
So is anything cooking with Vigil of War right now? Or are you guys kind of taking a break? What are you thinking?
We actually just recorded a new song in the 10 days I had home before we joined this tour. So we're still recording and writing. not playing as much right now, just because half the band became parents last year, so everyone's kind of doing their own thing, but we're still writing, and yeah, it feels good.
That's awesome. Yeah, my guitarist had his second kid in March, so we took the whole month off of any shows at all, and it's fun to see people go into that next stage of their life. But me personally, I'm like, I'll never understand, but man, it must be mind-blowing. But it's so cool to see your bandmates kind of step forward like that.
Oh yeah, no, I'm very happy for them, and I'm Auntie Alicia to several kids now, and I love them. So
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's nice.
So any surprises on the set tonight? Anything new popping up?
You'll have to find out.
Okay.
I better pit with that chicken.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's going to be your main goal for the night is to get, what's his name one more time?
Mr. Cuckoo.
Mr. Cuckoo. We're going to have to get our hands on Mr. Cuckoo.
Yeah.
That's freaking awesome.
No, I won't touch him. I'll just pit around.
So, not a huge video gamer, but you are a Nintendo head. What are some Nintendo games that you kind of fell back on? Are you a Mario Kart person at all?
Yeah, I mean, Mario Kart is a classic, Mario Party, you know, all of the old Mario games. But now I feel like I'm just so busy with music, it's hard to find the time to video game as much. So.
I mean, you guys just announced your European tour right after this. It's like non-stop.
Yeah, we just got back from a 5-week run in Europe. We had like 10 days home, then we're doing this for a month, and then going back to Europe. So yeah, we're pretty non-stop. But
that's crazy. I reached out and I was like, hey, would you mind talking? And she goes, I don't think I'm gonna have much time after this tour. And I was like, man, okay. So I'm very thankful that we could line this up today. Thanks for taking the time.
Thank you.
Yes.
It's nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too. Yeah. Oh god.
Of course. For Metal Massacre, I've been Lucian with Alicia and Anastasia. Have a good night and keep it metal.
All right, that was a fun little interview.
Yeah, that was cool, man. Again, yeah, she was. I wasn't there, so it's like I'm talking like I was, but she was really cool, dude. Like that was pretty down to earth, real tight, real fun. Like again, that was pretty sweet of her to do that. Too,
yeah,
so.
Yeah, and just like reach out and have the time, and thank you to Dustin Trinan for introducing us.
Yeah,
that was really cool of him. They're actually friends, so it's kind of nice for him to kind of reach out and like, hey, these guys might be hitting you up. They're not crazy.
I promise.
I promise they're cool. So yeah, it was nice of that. Thank you, Dustin, for hooking that up.
And again, shout out to them. They were on the last episode that we had, or we talked to him, and you know, they have. God, I think it's gonna be 5 songs. He said.
Yeah.
So yeah, their EP's in the works right now, and then they go run up all of their stuff from their latest album that they're putting out single by single, and the latest one's Abomination. But cheers.
Another pickle shot juice
to a fellow Dustin.
But Dustin,
that's good.
We are here to talk about a different album.
Yeah.
I figured it'd be a nice way to kind of wrap up this episode to talk about DragonForce's new EP. Or I guess it is an album. Warp Speed Warriors.
Hell yeah.
Really, really fun new one. And I kind of think that this album is the natural next step for DragonForce.
Yeah, awesome album art. Keeps the old school, like, you know, the 80s Judas Priest era of stuff where like everything's like big and gold, and they're all animated looking like the front of a D&D side quest game or something.
Yeah.
But like in an arcade, with the old school checkerboard floor, dragons in the sky. It looks. Yeah. The album art is honestly. This takes
brand.
Nothing away from the album itself. I think the album art is my favorite thing about it. Like. Yeah,
and they've kind of been on this new kick. If you look at all their other albums, the last 2 look this way.
Yeah.
So it's like DragonForce in these last 2 albums has really redefined their sound in a way where it's like it's still signature DragonForce, but it's them kind of pushing the bounds of that sound. And I think this album is a really good interpretation of that. Like obviously you have your video game soundtrack songs like Power of the Triforce, which is just a catchy song in general. Very classic in their style. But then some of them stood out to me. Some of them I loved. Some of them I kind of passed over. And then some of them I didn't like in general. and they grew on me later. So it's a very complex album. I think you can't look at it so one-dimensionally as is it good or is it bad.
Sure,
it's inherently good.
I enjoyed.
You'll find things about it that you're like, well, I don't like this part of this song, but I like it in general. You know,
right? And it runs 12 songs, 1 hour. It's again, they do hang their head on some longer songs because they do dueling solos a lot. And like, you know, most things range in the 4 to 7 minutes as opposed to like the 3 to 5.
Yeah.
But and just shout out to the name again, because I would like to think that Space Marine Corps is a shout out to Doom, probably.
Yeah.
Like,
I listened to that song first and I was like, ooh, this is fun.
Yeah.
This is very call to action-y kind of a song.
Right.
So.
Doom being one of my favorite video games and one of the best soundtracks. That would make for a good episode.
That would make for a good episode.
Maybe the next one we'll talk. I'll make a list.
Video game metal soundtracks.
Yeah, some of the best metal soundtracks in video games or movies.
That'd be a fun list. I like that. But yeah, this just had classic DragonForce written all over it, and then there's stuff that's like just insane, like Burning Heart has like I think 6 solos in it, maybe. Maybe 7.
We were listening to it before this, and like literally they thumbnail, because they, you know, you can like in documentaries on YouTube they section things and kind of tell you what's going on in these sections as they're grouping up. It's like main verse, blah blah blah, and then it's like how many solos? Sam 1, Herman 1, Sam 2, Herman 2, and then it's like even more
duel, even more, and then like it was like epic chorus, even more final epic chorus.
The one was just called Yes.
Yeah. I was like, oh my god.
Just sections where it gets all epic.
They don't take it too seriously, I think, and it
like
shows.
I said, self-aware.
They're very fun about everything. Doomsday Party was kind of the standout song for the reason that it's very poppy. It's not normal DragonForce, but I think people have kind of accepted it as a new thing that they can do, is be a little more poppy.
Sure.
So I'm cool with it. I like it. But yeah, I think honestly Space Marine Corps and Burning Heart, and I want to say honestly, Wildest Dreams, the Taylor Swift cover, are probably my 3 favorite songs on this album, because they just capture that DragonForce energy. Like you watch the Wildest Dreams DragonForce music video, it's like a tour music video, and it just feels awesome. You're like, God, I'd love to be there. Like, and we were. So like, it captures a feeling, and I think they do that so well with their music. Where if you know a song and you love a song and you see it played live, it's just amazing. Like, there's never a bad gig, I think, with DragonForce. It probably takes a lot for them to have a bad gig. Right. I mean, they're so learned and they're so practiced, and obviously just guitar god level of playing. So I mean, like, it would be, you'd have to be really off or not into it to have like a bad time with them. I mean, like, and you know what, to be honest, most of the time, I guess I've been blessed, luckily, for the most part, is that most of the artists that I've seen live have done a, like, I can't remember seeing like a, you know, like a national level thing and being like, oh, they fucking sucked. Yeah. Like, I'm not trying to shit on it because I'm a huge rap and hip hop fan, but you hear a lot more of that. Like, oh yeah, I mean, like, I love this guy, but live it was just like basically his DJ and then him hyping himself up with the backing track. Yeah. And you hear that a lot more in like rap and pop, just because of the style that it is as well. You know, obviously the very talented, or even like Lil Wayne back in the day went out with a real band. Like when he would play live, he had like a real drummer and shit behind him doing a lot of that. And obviously if there were certain songs it was all just bass, then it was just fucking 808s programmed into the house. But like I haven't been able to see really like one. I'm trying to think if there was one that I would call him out. I'd say it, but I can't think of one. I mean, like the Dropkick Murphys were fucking great. Like, I'm trying to think of even like stuff that would lend itself to being a little bit more hectic, but that just goes to show you what success really, you know, means. Yeah. And obviously these guys have made it 1,000 times over, and like they're still making it, man. It's like, this album proves that, I think. Warp Speed Warriors is like, they can still put out good shit that is signature DragonForce shit, and each song is going to be different to you, and each song speaks to a different like kind of power metal, I think. Like, it's very much that way, where it's like they have one sound, but they do so much stuff that you're going to be like, oh, well, another band does something like this but different, and it kind of reminds me of that, you know. Like there's a lot, but at the same time, there's stuff they do that no one else does.
Right. They're an influential, like, driving force of, no pun intended.
Yeah.
But of the power metal genre, like, really. And obviously, you know, you stand on the shoulders of those before you with lots of 80s bands that did this style of, like, like big, wild power shit. But, like, I mean, even as far back as, like, Queensryche and shit, but, like, you know, they walk so that people can run. And I think that looking through the annals of time, DragonForce could be one of the best, if not the premier, like, speed power metal band of all time.
Yeah.
Like, I would put them up in that category where you do break things down. Like, stoner metal has like, you know, Black Sabbath and Bongzilla or Bong Ripper and like all these other guys that are like, yeah, you know them.
Yeah.
And but like, is it anything like Whitechapel?
Right.
No, but it's still metal. And like, so in that lane,
they are probably the most well-known power metal band out there, and speed metal band for sure. And I think they're one of the last remaining relics of that genre that are still doing
this big.
Yeah, like that are maintaining that popularity and maintaining a cult following. And it's it's almost to the point now where it's more of an organization. It's like how Slipknot has become a company more than a band.
Yeah, that's fair.
It's like not so far as to say they've gone that far, but it is the highest level of being a brand that you can be while still being a band. And
I would say that, again, we're looking at this from an American perspective, but that's kind of exactly the point, is that they're taking this style that's very European and it's worldwide. Right. Because I know that, like, if someone listening in Liverpool right now, like, that's bullshit. You know what I mean?
That's a horrible Liverpool accent, but I'll forgive it because you've been sipping on some pickle vodka today.
I suck. I just...
It's okay. But no, I get what you're saying.
It's bullshit, mate.
I think a lot of people wouldn't know a lot about power metal if it wasn't for DragonForce being back in like the early 2000s.
Yeah, the Guitar Hero stuff, of course.
Yeah,
sure. Like,
and that really brought them into. And honestly, like Brendan was talking about it, how like that brought both of them into the forefront was Guitar Hero, and that's how everybody knew about Dethklok. That's how everybody knew about DragonForce. And there were multiple Dethklok songs throughout the Guitar Hero run, I think.
I don't know why I just put it together that they were both in Guitar Hero.
Yeah,
I don't know why I just put that together.
It should have just been called the Guitar Hero Tour
with
Necrogoblicon. Yeah, let's book another one of those and get another band. I bet they would
still have to pay a fuckload of money to get the
dude, you know it.
Activision wants some.
Right, they'd be like, "Ooh, we're taking a big cut."
Yeah, but that's cool though.
But yeah, no, it was. I think this Warp Speed Warriors album is kind of like you always worry about bands the longer they go on, where you're like, okay, are they just gonna put out weak EPs or weak albums? Is it just gonna be like shallow stepping stones to the next big thing, but everything between it is bad? Like, what's gonna happen to their sound? Are they gonna, like, quote unquote sell out and change, or what's going on with this band?
Yeah.
And it's good to see DragonForce still putting out stuff that is consistently them and consistently pushing some kind of boundaries. They're stepping out of their comfort zone, and that's awesome, but they're doing it in a way that's their own. And this album, Taylor Swift song, and I love it.
Yeah.
They can literally do anything they want.
Yeah.
And I think Warp Speed Warriors completely proves that. So if you love DragonForce, you gotta listen to this. If you don't know who DragonForce is, listen to this.
This wouldn't be a bad stepping stone spot. Honestly, this would be a great place to start. I
look
think,
them up
like,
on Spotify, or Apple Music, or wherever you get your fucking tunes, and just look through their discography and find out stuff that you like about them, because there's a whole bunch, man.
By the time that this comes out, it looks like all of their American dates will be done. They're kind of finishing up in Idaho, and after that, in July through all the way through August, pretty much for looks like about 3 weeks in a row, they're going all across Europe, from everywhere, Iceland
with Necrogoblicon
to Germany, down to France.
That's gonna be so cool. I'm excited for them. Like that, they're gonna do really well in Europe. You know?
Fuck yeah, they will. You know,
like,
they will.
it's just their stage presence, their live show, how they put on a show. Everyone, you can't not have fun at their shows, and you can't not have fun listening to their music.
Yeah,
it's hard for me to be in a bad mood and listen to DragonForce.
Yeah, even if I'm like, all right, next, I'm like, yeah, all right, next. Like,
right, like it puts you in a good mood still. You're like, God damn it. Like every time I listen to DragonForce, I'm happy. And I'm just like, yes. Yes. It's like an ultimate escapism, honestly. And I gotta say, like, we don't rate albums, but this would be a high rating from me if I did rate an album. Like,
everything's subjective. We decided, we were like, dude, we're not gonna give stuff like a whatever out of 10. Let's just fucking go out there, and if we like it, we like it. We'll bring it up on the show.
Right.
We're just gonna bring up things we like. I'm not gonna be like, so this came out.
Yeah.
You know, like that's what, you know, unless it's very important. Like,
we're about celebrating metal here and having a good time doing it.
Yeah.
You know, we're not trying to be
something up,
extreme critics. So get recommendations from us and fun interviews and cool content, but I just figured I wanted to do an episode that was kind of DragonForce and Dethklok centric with a little splash of Necrogoblicon in there, because it was such a fun time. I think this is such a good album. And that interview was really cool.
And again, thank you to her
thank you to Alicia for talking to us. Like, you didn't have to take the time, and you did. You're a super cool person, and I hope the rest of the touring goes well.
Absolutely, man. Well, shit, I think that's a good spot, dude. I mean, like, I'm glad you had fun in KC, and again, thank you to her for doing the interview. And thank you to Dustin again from Pariah. Look out for their stuff, because they've been he set us up with that contact, and also has been just a good friend to us and friend of the show, even at the Geekly before we got here. So plenty of more big interviews coming this season is what we have planned. We already have more episodes in the can, of course, and
working ahead. We're good podcasters.
And we'll continue to, like I said in the last episode, we kind of updated you a little bit about Molten, what's going on. Of course, we'll use this as a platform to kind of shout out some of our friends and let you know of cool shit going around here locally in the metro. Again, as of recording this, we have some stuff coming up, but by the time it comes out, I think we'll have already played, honestly, a lot of our gigs that we've had kind of booked up.
We do have one coming out in June.
Well, at
June
May
15th.
31st.
Yeah, May 31st. There's a lot coming out.
Yeah,
man.
if you're around Omaha on May 31st, it honestly, I would... This is the one I'm going to plug because we put a lot of local friends, but there's a band coming through called Bat, and I want to look up exactly, because I do... real fast, I just thought of this now. I would point you guys in their direction to go listen to them if you are a thrash metal fan of any kind, because Bats, let me look this up really fast, is members of Municipal Waste, I'm pretty sure. I know this is horrible podcasting where I'm just leading you through stuff. I'm sorry. He had to step out anyways. You know what? I'll find it. I'll find it one day because there's way too many posts for this. But yeah, it's BAT, B-A-T, and they are coming here May 31st to the Reverb Lounge. We are lucky enough to open up the show with them with Beast Eagle, who we just did a small weekend tour with as well not too long ago. And it's like kind of a super group of a whole bunch of old school. There it is. Municipal Waste. Yes.
Buying for time over here.
DRI drummer from DRI, Dirty Rotten Imbeciles, for fans of like people like Motorhead, Discharge Venom.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, that's gonna be. I know I was just buying time.
I love the way they're billing that.
Yeah, it's gonna be a good one. It's an old school metal thrash kind of crossover super group kind of thing. Gonna be fun. So if you're anywhere near, that's what I would point us to. Reverb Lounge, May 31st here in Omaha. Come see us, but mostly I would go listen to Bat on the first part because it's a modern day take on a lot of this road dog shit that we love. Especially myself. That's right up my alley. So.
Yeah, it's going to be super fun. I think we're going to have a lot of fun at that show. I'm probably going to have to Uber home.
You know what I'm talking about. Ooh. All right.
Thank you guys for listening to Metal Massacre. Sorry to cut you off there, bud.
Goodbye.
Get out of here.
A Huda Media Production.